the Thabo Bester matter, which will be back in the courts on the 19th of September for the pre-trial proceedings that will be taking place. Of course, it was back a few days ago, and the person you see over there, my good friend Elton Hart, who is a legal analyst, joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank you for your time. So we saw this case back in the court with all the accused back in there, but one of the accused had the case against them dropped. Tell us about where we are in terms of the processes leading up to the pre-trial later on in the year.
Obviously, prior to a court setting a court date, they have something that they call like a pre-trial. And at that pre-trial, it is normally where they would now first ascertain if all the legal practitioners have obtained the entire instructions from their clients, and the instruction includes instructions pertaining to the merits of the case as well as financial instructions. So one needs to know when they talk about instructions, it can entail those two things. So if you did not pay your lawyer or place him or her into funds so that he or she can represent you for the duration of the trial, that needs to be sorted out before the trial starts. And then they look at issues like, was discovery made? Now discovery entails as to what is in the police docket.
Yes.
Was it made available to the defense?
Yeah.
Especially the information or evidence that the state intends to lead in the court. And that is what normally happens at the pre-trial.
Yeah.
But the reason why this pre-trial, or it was initially started as a pre-trial, and Judge Opperman had to sort of half swing it in a different way to try and get certain things out, because we know that Thabo Bester and Nandipha Magudumana is currently approaching the apex court to actually deal with the issue of that disguised extradition that Judge Loubser found that that deportation that they call it was actually a disguised extradition, and then that issue of consent. So and she had to like deviate a little bit there.
And that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we have the 19th of September for the pre-trial, but we have this pending issue, whether or not the heavy doors in Bloemfontein will open for them to even set foot and present their arguments. But you are saying to me that perhaps they're a bit emboldened by what they observed in the Morwadi Cholota matter, around how Morwadi Cholota was brought back from the United States and what was said about extradition versus disguised extradition.
Yes, and not just that, there's also the Schultz judgment that actually gave Cholota her shot at actually getting the court to come to the verdict. And funny enough, it was the same judge who made the fact-finding in the Thabo Bester Nandipha case to say this is a disguised extradition, but they consented. And on that basis, he said they should stand trial. But now in Cholota's case, again, Judge Loubser said, but the extradition process is so sort of half, it seems like there is not clarity. So we need the apex court to actually come and give us clarity to say, how should the state do this? But from my understanding, I know what needs to happen and where they flawed in actually bringing these applications. But obviously, that is a story for another day.
Yeah. So just for completion then, what they are hoping for, if I understand you correctly, is that the Constitutional Court will say the way they were brought back into the country was inappropriate and therefore stripping the court of jurisdiction? Is that what they're hoping for?
You've summarized it like a lawyer. The way they was brought back in that disguised extradition, which they call a deportation.
Yes.
So the state is calling it a deportation because they say Tanzania and they say, no, this was a disguised, and Judge Loubser helped them to say that. Now they also want the apex court to say that, can a person consent to an illegal act? So can Tulas approach Elton and say, Elton, I'm suffering, kill me please.
Sure. Wow.
It's illegal for me to kill you, but you consented that I kill you. So they want the court to actually make a finding on can you
have consented
to an illegal
extradition.
Or an illegal act for whatever they want to call it. So that's also one of the issues that they're laying before the apex court to say, listen, tell us, even if Judge Loubser said this was consent, can I, in my state of mind, would have consented to something that's illegal, that goes against these SADC protocols and the treaties?
What was your observation about the way that the proceedings of this week were carried out? I'll share with you mine, and then you can complete. I felt that Thabo Bester is a bit more measured now. Gone is the Mandela talking from the dock kind of performance, wanting to address the court all the time, allowing his legal representative to actually represent him. Did you share that observation? And what does it tell us about the dynamics at play?
No, for me, it's I've seen it, but it's also, I think, how Judge Opperman sort of have handled the situation in court at that point in time. Because she made sure she went, accused number one, dealt with accused number one's issues. What all the issues pertaining to accused number two, should she give everybody a fair chance? And I think in previous instances where Thabo Bester got up and actually spoke from the dock is where he felt like his legal representative at that point in time is not being given the opportunity to tell him or to tell the court what was his instructions. And I think here Judge Opperman sort of have made it very clear that, okay, I'll give everybody a fair chance, just give me also a fair chance to do my work. And I think how she handled the court for me was actually very nice. You could actually follow each one's story. But I can also say maybe also now the legal representative got through to him to say, listen, yeah, my man, I think you being this proactive in the defense and what you want to do, the court might take displeasure in your behavior and might not treat you as a person that doesn't know the law that well because how you speak. And that's why I see it.
Yeah, I did pick up that there must have been another conversation that says, allow yourself to be represented. Lastly, Elton, talk to me about issues of legal representation. The understanding is that one of the accused, Zolile Sikeleni, who is Nandipha Magudumana's father, his application for legal aid has been declined. How much uncertainty does that add that when we return on the 19th of September, that may be sorted out? Because I assume that it's declined because the qualification criteria is not met, and therefore he's probably expected to organize his own legal representation.
Yes, if you know all the legal aid institutions, law clinics as well as Legal Aid South Africa, they have what they call a means test. And one of those other criteria is that if you own a house and the house's value is more than 500,000 rand, that is also one of the criteria that kicks you out to actually qualify for legal aid. And that can have a serious bearing because now you have your Section 35 rights of an accused, that an accused need to have legal representation, and it's in the Criminal Procedure Act as well as the Constitution. And because of the complex nature of this case, he can still come back and say, but I could not find a lawyer that can help me. And the mere fact that the guy owns a house doesn't mean he can afford. I mean, if I take it from myself, if I take a lawyer with the amount of experience that I have, then myself, Elton Hart, I can't afford myself. That's how I can actually sum it up for you.
Elton, thank you. It's always good to see you. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
Legal analyst Elton Hart, a good friend of the show.